Hello there. This is an update to my 1972 Dodge Travco motorhome restoration / rebuild project. Today's task is going to be putting the front axle out of the Georgia Boy donor motorhome in place. But before I do that, I need to go to town and get myself some oxygen. But I thought I'd take a minute here and show you where I'm at with the project. I've got the radiator sitting in place. It's not completely bolted up, but it's sitting in place, and I figured I'd better stop because I was getting ready to plumb the intercooler lines and put the steering box and stuff like that mount underneath of the wheel wells. But I thought I'd better put the steering axle in place, especially since it'll need to be in place so I can get the steering box lined up. One of the things I've done over this last couple months is I've taken the windows out. And the reason, well, the plan was to put new gaskets in anyways. But I've sanded and painted around the frames of the windows. That way when I put them in, I know there's good paint, good body work underneath. Problem that I've run across with this big window here is if you see right up there in the middle, the factory actually cut the hole in the fiberglass too big. So I'll have to grind that out and put some glass in before I can install this window. What it is, we've had a lot of rain lately, so I stopped everything and I went ahead and pulled the windows out, did a little fairing work and painting. I scratched it right there, I see. And I put new gaskets in the back windows since the back of the motorhome is actually sticking outside, and through them windows is where the berth is, and everything was getting flooded. All the wood I had put in the floor. You'll see I put in new reverse lights and brake lights, and I just sanded real quick. What I want is I don't want this rough, crazed fiberglass gel coat underneath the gaskets. And I did the same thing on this side. Now these two lights are actually under the berth. Those other two lights are actually in the generator compartment. If they're to leak past the gasket, it's just going to leak out on the ground. And this is another window that I'd put in. Just put a little paint down there, just enough to seal things up. Haven't done much more than this. And up on top, where the rear marker lights go, I started doing a little bit of glass work, and I just wanted plugged up them holes good enough for the doesn't leak inside. And this metal strip right here above the window, I've taken it out and I put some what I call Gorilla Snot. It's chopped glass mixed with a resin, and I filled it in there, and it worked out real good. Just go inside and show you a few things in there. Also resealed around the generator. That looks terrible. That was a hurry, just trying to keep it from leaking inside the berth. I'll clean that up and make it better. So I spent the last month or so tinkering with electrical wiring and things like that. You'll see since last time I showed you the inside, we went ahead and put the kitchen cabinets in place. We also stuck these upper cabinets in. I'll replace, or I'll build it back to the cabinet later up inside here. And I did the same thing on this side. And what I've got here is I got some laminate that I've re-glued back in place. That's these three pieces here. I need to find the rest of this. I've glued this in. These cabinets are 40-something years old. The original glue they used for the laminate obviously is not holding up. So I'm just trying to stick it back on. I was going to sand it down and varnish and paint, varnish it. But I'm leaning more towards putting a white coat of paint on all the cabinets. I started to build my countertop. It's 3/4 inch plywood with a 3/4 inch strip around the edges. This will most likely be an avocado green countertop when I'm done. There's old George. He's got to show his ass to the camera. Same thing here. Made a small countertop for this counter. Since I showed it last, we went ahead and replaced the floors under the berth here. This door actually holds it where the batteries are going to store. There'll be a battery bank inside of here. I put my shunt in for my battery monitoring system. Set this in place. We actually found all of our Travco window screens. We're really glad to see that. We didn't think we had any screens. Well, my wife said she didn't think we had any, but I could have sworn I saw screens, and we found all of them, so that'd be great, because I was going to have to make screens, and I wasn't looking forward to that. This is not bolted in, but got the water tank going back in. I pieced in some wood for the floors. Hot water heater sitting there. It's not plumbed yet. I went and bought a new water pump. One thing I did, if you have a Travco, they see the spray foaming back around the lights. I cut it and I clear the foam off of where the lights are. And if you'll see right below, you'll see some light shining through. That's a weep hole I drilled in. I tapered the fiberglass to create a channel, and I put a weep hole in, because what happens is the water will wind up leaking past the lights and running down onto the floor under the water tank and rotting it out. So since water's not going to fly in, it's going to weep in. That channel should catch it, and that weep hole should allow it to escape. So that's what I did there. I didn't have to do it on the generator side, because like I said earlier, the generator is, if it leaks to them lights, it'll just go on the ground. I got most of my wiring in place. This is a Cat 6. This is before, if I decide to put my PEP wave, it takes an air card, turns it into Wi-Fi. Since then, we've got unlimited hotspot on our phones now, so we may not use it, but I'll put it in anyways. This is a coax from my security camera, and this the Cat 6 going from the PEP wave to the DVR for the security system, so I could monitor my motorhome anywhere I'm at. Speaker wires, just some wiring to go forward for my AM/FM radio. A wire for the security system so I can turn it on and off from my fuse box, which I've mounted here. This is the battery monitor gauge I mentioned in another video. And I'll finish this, or I'll maybe replace this with a plastic cover altogether. And I got different wire running different directions. I think the wiring's almost all the way in. I've run some wires up here. I've run these wires to, this will be for my fan that I'm going to put in. I'm replacing the air conditioning in this spot with a fan. Since we'll probably be boondocking a lot, 2 air conditioning units, probably a little bit too much. This is solar. Got the wire pre-wired for my solar panels. I've drilled a hole and brought it through. Now when I get on the roof, I'll put the proper thing up there to insulate it. PEX plumbing's been run everywhere except for inside under the under the berth. I got the hot water heater, not hot water heater, but I got the gas heater sitting in place. I've put in Corian countertop for the bathroom. I'm in the process of making a cabinet underneath there. And then behind this wall right here, I've shoved a piece of PVC so I can run wires from all the way back from the berth all the way forward to this cabinet right here. And it's kind of dark in there, but if you can see down there, you'll see where the PVC is sticking out. I'm going to foam all that in. This is mice throughout the years have found their way underneath through that wall and kind of underneath the shower part, and we vacuumed all that out, but I'm going to seal all that with foam. Hey, George! George is a good boy. So that's what I've been doing, is I've been fixing cabinets. I've been fixing some delamination of the veneer. Let me turn this one around. This is a piece that I've done already. It was flaked off pretty bad right in here. And I injected some Elmer's wood glue, and there's still a soft spot there I need to do. But this was all flaked off. I've chipped it since then. That chip should be laying around. I'll re-glue it. Old George is going to knock it on the ground, probably chip it again. And then I sanded her, and then I put golden pecan, I think it was. stain on it, then I varnished it. But I'm thinking I'm probably going to go with white paint. The plan is white paint with probably a piece of oak trim around the edges, probably. I put some fiberglass panels from from the home store behind here, and we want to do the whole things in them. That way, if we get a window leak and we don't rot the whatever board that they normally use, masonite or whatever it is, it winds up rotting and looking nasty. So I thought if we could do it in this foam, may or may not do it because it still may be too soft. We put another type of foam in, and it another type of panel in that was a lot thinner, and it was even worse. So the steering wheel's out. These floorboards, driver's side and passenger side, the metal floorboards, they are sagging from cutting away for the radiator, and I still need to build braces in there. Still a little bit more wiring for the lights, and there'll be interior LED lights down on the floor. But it's almost ready for the interior walls to be put in. So that's what she's looking like. Oh, I started to build a console above the driver and passenger side. It's just laying in there, and it's going to be redone. I cut it too short in spots, and plus there's an angle to it that it's not really. I need to redo an angle, so that'll be redone. No big deal. Everything's a project. A lot of stuff to replace on it, but I believe that's about it. You know, we went around the windows, like I said, and that's about it. Thank you for watching my video.